Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anton Januska, and today I'm going to be going over my Habitica setup. Hopefully audio levels are good, and we can get this video done. I tried to make this video multiple times. I have made other videos on the similar topic and I haven't released any of them, so hopefully today I can actually get it done. I'm going to try not to go too deep into the features of Habitica, but the basics are Habitica is a habit tracker with RPG elements. You have a character, you have a class for that character. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to do 130%. That sounds about good. Yeah, you have a character, you have a class. That class has associated skills. You have health, you have experience points, level, mana, all kinds of things like that. And you can be part of a party. You can see I'm part of quite a large party. I don't actually know how to scroll through my party members. I don't think I can, but that's okay. Yeah, so those are the basics, and being able to attack, you do quests in Habitica as well, and in a quest you might be collecting something, and the more tasks you get done, the more you collect of that item until you finish that quest. You can attack monsters, and basically each task that you finish is an attack. And for some tasks, if you don't get them done, or you, I don't know, well, let's see, we have some habits here. So, I have a habit here to keep to 1 teaspoon of agave per coffee, and I didn't do that, so I have to press like a negative, and that would result in the attacking monster, the monster that we're trying to slay, to attack me back. So those are kind of the RPG elements. There's a bunch of stuff like inventory. You can have monster. You can have these rides, these steeds. You can have pets. You can have armor and weapons, and all those affect the gameplay. But I don't want to really talk about all the RPG elements, because I think the huge power of Habitica, other than the gamified aspect of it, is in the 3 types of tasks you can have set up, and the tagging system and everything that goes along with it. So we have habits. Habits are basically tasks that don't have a due date. They don't have any kind of limits. You basically just say, did I track this or not? Oh, you know what? I'm not tracking my time right now. I'm going to go set that up. Now that I'm reading it, I'm going to go to my timer. I'm doing some time tracking, and I count this as a project. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that off as a plus. I gain some gold. I gain some mana back. I do 0.8 damage to the boss. Let me make sure that I actually do have this done. Let's see, I'm making a video, and this is a project. All right, cool. Set up video. All right, cool. At least I'm following through on my habits. So yeah, so you can have all kinds of habits. There is a plus or a minus. You can enable or disable one of these. I'm actually going to change this one. I'm actually going to keep this one the way it is. If I track time, I do plus. If I actually do a project and I forget to track the time, I give myself a minus, which I lose health. Really, going through this habit tracker, it's up to you how you do it. It's easy to cheat, but when you cheat, you really just cheat yourself. There's no really reason to cheat. There's not enough of an incentive to cheat, rather. But there's a lot of incentive to being honest about it. Let's see. So I have a bunch of tasks here. Then we have dailies. Dailies are tasks that repeat. These used to be tasks that repeated daily, hence the name. But now you can actually set up a much more complicated setup in terms of repetition. Let's see, I have a budget planning here. And that happens monthly on the very first day of the month. So that means that on the first day of the month, this task gets enabled, and it'll have some kind of color to it. And then I have to check it off. I have some tasks that are every day. Usually I have tasks that, well, I'll go over that. You can filter through these really easily, so that you can easily keep up with it. They added these filters, I don't think it was too long ago, but I'm very happy that they have those. And then we have to-dos. To-dos are like basic tasks that you might want to put here. You can do these. You can do these in you know, you can do these like a queue of tasks that you want to get done at some point, like a regular to-do list. You can set these up to have due dates. You can run all of your to-dos through here. I usually use them for like long-term tracking plus whatever I'm working on that week. So in my gaming, I wanted to finish 12 games in a year, and no, I'm not on like game number 10 for just this year, 2 months in. I'm actually on game. I haven't finished any games this year. This is from a couple of years ago, and I kept it around because I just wanted to finish it. You can create subtasks for your tasks, which works really well. I wanted to finish a round of books. It is not due in 4 months. This was due a couple of years ago or like a year ago, and I just never finished it. It takes me a long time to finish some of these tasks, and I just recently got back into doing Habitica. So yeah, and so you can set this up in any way you want. I really like these for long-term tasks. So why don't we, and again, you can filter through these. When I click on complete, there's a lot of tasks that I have completed, but since I'm not a subscriber, I only get to keep them for 30 days. You can filter through tasks that are scheduled, that have to be done at some point, and so on. I'd love to go over the anatomy of each task, but I don't want to spend that extra time on it. I'd like to just show you how I set everything up. And really, all that boils down to is my tag system. Now, I use Todoist for my regular to-do tracking, what I need to do on a daily basis, what I need to do in the next few days, queuing up tasks, keeping notes of tasks I want to do in the future, projects, so on. That's what I use Todoist for, and gradually some of these tasks will make it back to Habitica when they become relevant. As long as they're not short-term tasks. So if I need to get something done today, I'm not going to put it into Habitica. And I also use Toggle for time tracking, which is pretty useful right about now because I have about 30 minutes to make this video and I can't go over that amount, and so it's really good that I'm actually tracking that. And all of my projects, all of my task trackers use a very similar tagging system. Habitica is a little bit different just because it has some self-improvement tasks that I wouldn't have in a to-do list. So let's just go through these. So I have chores. Chores are, I mean, what you would imagine. I have a task to take out the trash every Tuesday night because the trash comes on Wednesday. It's Wednesday today, so I might want to actually add a task of bringing the trash back in to get into the habit. I constantly forget to take the trash out, and it sucks because the trash piles up, and I don't need to take it out every single week, but it's a good habit to get into. And this has been already helping. It reminded me last night. I got a notification from Habitica. Hey, check your tasks. You can set that up too. And I check my tasks, and I'm like, hey, I really need to take out that trash. The more you click of these, they are like an and situation. So I'm looking for a task that is a chore and gaming, which doesn't really happen. So I don't really use that feature together. But if you're into, what is it, the Eisenhower square, I could imagine adding a couple more tags like urgent, important, and not urgent, and being able to filter through that. I use that in my regular to-do list, but because these are long-term tasks, I try not to do that because nothing is urgent, basically. I have self-care tasks, like the keeping to 1 teaspoon of agave. Agave is a great sweetener. It's a low glycemic sweetener as long as you buy it raw. The non-raw one is closer to sugar. And I've been trying to cut down on sugar in any place, but I like my coffee somewhat sweetened, so I try to keep it to 1 teaspoon, and I'm failing at it. I also have a nighttime routine. This is self-improvement. Before I go to bed, I try to meditate on the day. I try to check off all of my Todoist tasks. I think this is a great thing to do every single night. You might see that it's checked off, and it's because I go to sleep past midnight, so I usually check this off at the beginning of the day rather at the end. I have self-improvement. It's a little bit different. I have one to read a book. I haven't really explored this tag much yet because I feel like every single thing is self-improvement, but I can't really lump everything into that category. Finance is one of my most important ones. I try to check my budget every other day, so today's not the day, but I try to check it every other day. You can see that I have a streak of 2. That's something else to notice here. Dailies get streaks, to-dos don't because they don't repeat. And then I do budget planning at the beginning of each month, and I want to stick to that, and this really reminds me to do that. I have gaming tasks. This will sound a little bit weird because every single time I see somebody using like habit tracker or trying to get better or do self-improvement, cutting out gaming is a huge deal to them. I do the opposite. I try to do more gaming. It sounds kind of funny, but I love playing video games. To me, it's like on the same level as reading a book sometimes, and yeah, so I try to keep up these and I try to finish games. I do gaming, and this really helps me. I have a lot of games that I'm almost done with. I have one trainer to beat in Pokemon Soul Silver. I have 5 trainers to beat the Elite Four and Champion Black and White. I'm like 2 bosses away from ending the last mission of Mega Man 2, or whatever you want to call it. I have 3 missions away from finishing Fable 3. You can see this is a bad habit, and I really want to finish it. I might actually add a daily or something like that. And I also have a daily here, or I have a habit here that I try to keep up, and that's playing the primary game that I pick. And so I always pick up one game that I really want to focus on, and if I play something else, I give myself a minus. If I do play the primary game first, I give myself a plus. The streak resets every single day, so that's kind of a weird one. I'm going to go ahead and actually change this, and this is let's just go through what a habit task looks like. You have a title, you can add notes. Markdown is supported in both title and notes, which is really nice. So you can do something like this, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. You'll see this pattern in many of my other tasks, and I'll go over that in a little bit. I'm going to say it's easy and reset streak on a weekly basis. I think that makes more sense. Cool. So you can see that I actually follow this pattern in other places, and it's because since I can't see the tags, and even if I could see the tags, it's much easier for me to quickly skim through the list and see what tasks I have. Like, look, there's a coding task. I can see it immediately. I don't have to go into the tags. I don't have to do anything else. I follow the same pattern on Todoist, and I have there's a YouTuber that I follow, and he does this, and I've just gotten into the habit of doing that in most places, except for the habits. You can see, I haven't done that in habits, and I haven't done that in dailies, so I'll probably do that at some point. Yeah, let me go through the rest of these real quick. I have writing. I like writing a lot. I write a blog for a blog called Puckle Podcast. I'm going to actually, yeah, why don't I go ahead and pull that up real quick so I can show you a little bit of promotion here. I wrote for a blog called Puckle Podcast, which is a Pokemon blog, and I write a series called Pokemon Catch Up, where I write summaries for Pokemon episodes. Now, these episodes are 20 minutes long, but an average blog post takes me an hour to hour and a half to write, because I have to keep pausing, taking screenshots, setting up the article, linking to things, writing out trivia, all kinds of things all kinds of work goes into writing this article. So I try to make sure that I do a little bit every single night. I have 2 weeks to write a single article, and this spreads it out really nicely. I have a really bad time actually keeping up with this. So you can see the streak is 0, but I have to keep it here. Even if I can't get to it every single day, the more I see it, the more it prompts me to actually do this. So yeah, I have some other tasks here. These are, oh, I forgot, this one's done. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and check that off. I have writing tasks. I try to be a little bit more like role-playing wise, calling it legendary book editing, but I kind of dropped that after doing it for a couple tasks. This is an old legacy task, and I just wanted to edit a book, and I have, tasks to do 30%, 30%, and the last 10%. Why don't we go over the anatomy of a to-do? It's the same thing as before. You get a checklist as well. You can set a due date. This is something you cannot do on a daily or a habit. And I don't believe there are any advanced settings. Yeah, there aren't. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to these, and you can tag these. I forgot about this part. And you can just tag it with whatever tags you need to, and it's just writing, so that works for me. I need to probably flesh out some of these tasks a little bit more now that I see how well the active filter and the do filter works. I haven't been playing around with that too much. I've been using, I guess for some context, I've been using Habitica for 4 or 5 years. Let's see. I made my account in 2013, so quite a while. Total check-ins 313. I think they started that recently. I don't think that's my total check-in because I've been using it a lot even before they introduced this check-ins feature. here's my user ID. I don't know if you can actually send me anything. Yeah, you can probably send me a message if you want to. And yeah, so some of these tags are really, really old. I have a productivity tag. Track work time is a huge one. Sleep over project work. Sometimes I stay up late, and if I decide to work on a project instead of going to sleep, because I usually don't have enough sleep and I need to always catch up, I mark that as a minus. If I go to sleep early, I do a plus. This is the same as my gaming one. Work on existing project over starting a new one. I have a hard time concentrating on a single project. So I'm glad I added this. My dailies, this really makes up the bulk of my dailies. Work on a sprint. Every single week I come up with a theme for what I want to do that week, productivity-wise. It's usually something very light. For this week, it's making this video. So, you know, congratulations to me. I'm well on my way of doing this. I really hope I'm recording this video correctly, because if I'm not gonna remake this video again. At the end of the week, I do a planned sprint and planning a sprint and retrospective. So I try to look back. Why did I fail the sprint, or why did I succeed? What happened? And I try to plan the next sprint. So maybe there should be 2 tasks, but since I do them together, I like to lump them together. I prune my Todoist every Thursday, I think. Let's see if it's every Thursday. Every Friday. Okay, so I prune my Todoist every single Friday to make sure that I don't have any tasks that are irrelevant. And every single morning, I do some morning planning. I actually do this during work time. I use Todoist to track my work tasks that I need to do for the day. So I write them out, and it's very helpful because I forget all the time what I need to do. And you can see here in the to-dos, I also have, you know, doing this, what I'm doing. Work, I try not to have any work tasks in here. I don't feel like that's a good thing to keep here. Tracking work time makes sense. And then at work, we have this habit of we use Slack for our chat room, and we have a channel, and at the end of the day we kind of update each other with what happened during the day. It's kind of like a stand-up, but it's a write-in stand-up that takes a couple minutes, and I always forget to do it. And again, I do it in the middle of the night, so it's checked off for today, but I haven't done it today, so maybe I need to do like an end of day update in the morning and in the evening. I don't know. We'll see how that works. Sprint, those are sprint related tasks. I have a couple of coding tasks that are due at the end of this week. You know, we already looked at these tasks. Coding, some coding tasks, nothing really major there. And reading only has the reading task. And just me getting through some of these books this year. I guess I finished a book this year already. I don't remember which one. I would have to check Goodreads. I do finish. Yeah, I mean, I finish books all the time, so it wasn't a sci-fi or nonfiction. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember now. I finished a book by an author called Haruki Murakami, and he is a Japanese author that writes these Kafka-esque, almost somewhat supernatural, but not really, books. It's really hard to describe the style. It's an amazing... His books are really amazing, and I just finished the first book of 1Q84, which is just a really fantastic book book series so far. So that's my setup at a glance. Now there's some thinking behind it. In my habits, I try to keep day-to-day habits here. So I don't have any long-term habits here, like read a book, or I don't know. I only have things that really would impact me day to day. I try not to overload on tasks. You'll notice that I have a ton of tasks in every single column. That's because I've been doing this for a long time. So I'm used to juggling this and being able to keep up with it and not feel overwhelmed. I do go through like a spring cleaning of Habitica once in a while, and I make sure that I don't have any tasks that I don't want to do anymore, and I don't have any tasks that I actually don't do anymore. So if I can't keep up with the habit, maybe it's time to evaluate why I'm not keeping up with it and just let it fail. I did some spring cleaning recently, so this is my brand new setup, which is why you don't see any of those tasks that I need to delete. But yeah, so I try to keep habits of things that I'll do almost immediately. I try to keep a plus and a minus. I like the carrot and stick approach to this. Tracking work time is the only one that I try not to do, because I just... working is more important to me than tracking that actual work. But I did that a few times today, actually. Let me see how many entries I have in the tracker. 1, 2 big entries, so I'm going to give myself 2 pluses. well, I'm actually working on this project instead of starting a new one, so I'm going to give myself plus for that. Oh, well, it didn't go up, so there we go. Okay. And I gave myself a minus for that. I haven't played any games today, so that's fine. In my dailies, really, whenever I reset, I usually start with 3 tasks for the day. I don't do any more than that. I have, geez, 6, not 10. This is the most tasks I've ever had, mostly because some of these are habits I already have. So I use dailies not just to create new habits, but to make sure I keep up with old habits and to remind myself. Like morning planning, I do almost every single morning now. I don't usually miss it. I'm not sure why I missed it here, but I don't ever... I think I just added it back, didn't I? So I deleted the original task during my spring cleaning and re-edited it back this morning, so I only have streak of 1. But I'm pretty much used to doing this. But I realized that the second I deleted it, I forget to do it. So this is not just a way to create a new habit, it's a way to remind myself to do things. I guess you could say, like, if I have to remind myself, it's not a habit, but it works for me. Same with the nighttime routine. I'm glad I have a lot of these here. Like the Pokemon catch-up, I'm okay with not having a streak. I know I don't do it every single night, but every single night I need to consider, do I have the time to do it tonight? You know, do I have the time to do Pokemon catch-up tonight? Most likely tonight, I'll maybe be able to spend a few minutes on it, maybe 5-10 minutes, not a full, let's say, half an hour that I would like to spend on it. That's okay. That's not a big deal, but let's say last night I had a lot of work to do and a lot of things that I needed to get done around the house, so I didn't have time to actually work on the article, and that's okay. Like, I missed it, and it's okay. My goal isn't always to finish all of these, though. Habitica does keep track. If you finish all of your dailies multiple times, I think you get achievements. There's a streak for that as well. So if this is something that bothers you and you really want to have like a streak of having everything done, go ahead and do that. I'm okay with not having everything done. Yeah, and I have a few others. I'm glad I added these monthly tasks because I forgot about those. And once in a while I scroll down and I see it. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do the budget planning in a few days. So I'm glad I have this. I'm glad I set up some of these longer term tasks. It's not just dailies. I like also having tasks that I need to do once or a couple times a week and just spread those out naturally. This way, it kind of sets a theme for my day. I've noticed, neither Todoist or some other, not habit trackers, but to-do task lists or to-do managers, whatever you want to call it, most of those don't have repeating tasks, and most of those, if they do, they don't have such granularity where you can pick which days of the week you want to repeat them. So this is where all of that repetition goes. I'm like, the prune Todoist is great. Like, it's great to have that, at the end of the week, just focusing on that. I do also try to keep an order to these tasks. That tasks that I'm most likely to do every single day are on top. Tasks that I do less often are on the bottom. Budget planning is all the way on the bottom. Taking out trash once a week. Todoist once a week. Checking budget once every couple of days. This is once a week, so maybe I'll just do that at the bottom. Reading a book is every single day, and I do read every single day. Now, to-dos, this is the most confusing section for me because I have a to-do manager that I use already, so why do I even have this? And this really is long-term habit tracking, long-term habit goals. I want to finish a book. I want to... I've been getting into game development. I want to finish a game development tutorial. I've been trying to get to it for months now, and I'd like to get to it. I need to merge a couple of my servers. That's another huge thing. Finish games, do some writing goals, and I'm gonna probably add more to these. But again, I try not to keep this too long. I've noticed that if I create a list that's too long, a to-do list that's too long, I forget. I do one of these tasks, and I forget that I did them, and then I come back, and I'm wondering, why isn't that checked off? Like, if I read a second book and this list was like really long and the books were all the way on the bottom, I might forget to go into Habitica and check that off. So this is good for me right now. I'm gonna go ahead and reorder these a little bit. Reordering is so nice. I really like this. What just happened? Used some mana. What did I do? I must have clicked on something by accident. Either that or somebody... Yeah, it was probably somebody else attacked the monster. Yeah, okay, so, and all the way at the top, and I wanted to enforce this, is my sprint stuff that I need to get done within at the end of this week. And this setup really works for me. I would love to hear more about your setup and what you do and how, if you've used Habitica before. I'm part of a really good party. I'm gonna go ahead and showcase that real quick. If you don't, if you care only about the productivity stuff, this is where you can drop off. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the RPG elements of Habitica right now. So you'll see that my health is going down. If I don't finish a daily, whoop, I have a hover or something. Where is this coming from? Well, I don't know where it's coming from. If I don't finish all of my daily tasks, the daily tasks do take some of my health. If I click negative on a habit, that takes some of my health. And both of those also empower the monster that I'm fighting in a quest. I also have these rewards. I'm going to go ahead and use a health potion. A couple of them actually to fill up my health all the way. What happened there? There we go. Okay. Okay, well, there are some bugs that come up once in a while. I have 761 gold. I have 26 diamonds. That's a premium feature. This is actually my character. I don't think I'm going to change anything here. But I collected most of the steeds, most of the pets, a ton of the armor, a ton of the backgrounds. All of those features are collectibles. I'm going to use a skill. You can use skills to get gold and experience. Yeah, you rob a nearby task and gain gold. Based on your perception, I have a perception buff right now. So I'm going to go ahead and actually use this for fun. Let's go ahead and rob this one. 15 gold. That's great. There's a backstab that's based on strength. So more gold, more experience. This is great to just like power through. I use these sometimes if I need to get health and I don't have gold. There's a cool skill for my rogue, for my class called Tools of Trade, and that buffs perception for the entire party. And so I'm a party of 13 people. That's a big deal. I have a stealth task, and what's really cool about that is that my dailies don't lose if I don't do my dailies, I don't lose my streak. I don't use the color. I don't lose anything. Those tasks, it's like the day that never existed, and that's really cool because I try to save up mana to have it in case I have a really hectic or crazy day. I also try to save it up for days that I just want to take off. You can take an actual day off by going into the market, and you can hole yourself up. No, it's not the market. Where is it? Tavern chat. There we go. You can go into the tavern. This used to be called check, not pause damage, but check into tavern, and it would be like you would in an RPG. Check into tavern, and you get your health back, and nothing is, not that you get your health back. Actually, you just don't lose any damage. Let me show you what my party looks like. I have a lot of members, 15 people. We are currently fighting the monstrous moon, which is 1000 HP. Oh boy, we need a healer. Yeah, we for sure do. But you can see that some people are just made 16 damage, 18 damage, 47 damage. That's amazing. Some of the team members are alerting us, hey, you might want to get some health. And where is me? Where is my name? Am I under my real name? Yeah. So I've casted Tools of Trade. I attacked the monster for not a lot. Now we saw that I did a 0.8 damage to the monster. That goes through all the way at the end of the day. It goes in as a one bulk attack, all the stuff that I do during the day, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and just check this off because I'm done. I found a potato. That's great. Gained some health. I gained some experience. Did all this stuff. Critical damage, 200, or critical hit, it was 200. What was it? 200%, or 200% damage. And that's great. But that's about it. If you have any questions, or if you want to talk to me about all of this, go ahead and post on the bottom. Subscribe, like this video, upvote it, do whatever, share it with your friends. I don't know if anybody will, but this has been my setup, and I hope to post one of these videos sometime in the future if my setup ever changes. And yeah, if you haven't tried Habitica, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.